Have you ever looked in the mirror and whispered to yourself, "This can't be my life"? Maybe it was after a breakup that shattered you. Maybe after failing again at something you swore you'd get right this time. Or maybe in the silence of the night, when no one's watching and the weight of regret presses against your chest. We've all been there, desperate for change, praying for a new beginning, but stuck living the same day on repeat. I want you to imagine this. You wake up tomorrow in the exact same routine. The same habits, the same thoughts, the same distractions. Nothing changes. Now imagine repeating that for the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10. That thought terrifies you, doesn't it? Because the scariest prison isn't made of walls. It's built from cycles we refuse to break. Don't get so busy chasing the life you think you want that you forget to live the life you have. I often remind myself. Yet so many of us keep running on autopilot. We want change, but we choose comfort. We want success, but we settle for distractions. We want healing, but we hold on to the pain that broke us. Think about the start of every new year. Millions of people make resolutions, promises to finally get fit, to leave toxic relationships, to chase their dreams. But statistics show that most of those resolutions collapse by February. Why? Because wanting change and creating change are two completely different worlds. The bridge between the two is not built on desire, it's built on habit. This is where most people lose hope. They believe their life will transform with one big decision, one magical moment, one lucky break. But real life doesn't work that way. Change doesn't happen in giant leaps. It happens in small steps you repeat until they reshape who you are. And here's the truth most of us don't want to face. The life you are living right now is simply the result of the habits you practiced yesterday. Let that sink in. If you are heartbroken, unfulfilled, stuck, or lost, it's not because life hates you. It's because your daily habits are writing a story you don't want to read. The cycle will continue unless you change the pen you're holding. Your new life will cost you your old one. Those words have guided me again and again. And what they mean is simply, the life you dream of cannot be built with the same habits that built the one you're trying to escape. I remember when I first hit rock bottom. On the outside, I looked fine. I smiled, I laughed, I showed up. But inside, I was collapsing. I felt like a failure, like my time was slipping away, like my future was being stolen by the weight of my own mistakes. And yet, every day, I kept doing the same things, scrolling, escaping, distracting myself instead of facing the truth. It wasn't until I confronted my habits that I realized the problem wasn't my circumstances, it was me. And that realization hurt, but it also healed. Because if the problem was me, then the solution could be me too. So let me ask you a hard question. What's the one habit in your life that is destroying your future right now? Is it procrastination? Is it holding on to someone who already let go of you? Is it replaying the same failures in your head instead of writing new victories? Until you answer that, change will remain an illusion. Here's the beautiful truth though. It only takes one new habit to begin rewriting everything. One small consistent action to replace one destructive cycle. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to change one thing every day. And that one thing becomes the seed of a new life. Small daily improvements are the key to long-term results. I remind people because I've seen it in my own life. The habits you water grow into the person you become. And the habits you starve eventually die. But here's the warning, your comfort zone will fight you. Your distractions will tempt you. Your pain will beg you to numb it instead of heal it. And this is where most people quit. They want change, but they don't want the cost. They want transformation, but they don't want the trade. And so they fall back into the illusion of change, where nothing really changes at all. That's why you need to wake up to this truth. Your future is not waiting for you to be lucky. It's waiting for you to be consistent. The men who rise after failure, the women who rebuild after heartbreak, the people who turn their entire lives around, they all share one thing in common. They didn't stumble upon miracles. They built habits that became miracles. So today, I want you to decide, will you live another day in the cycle you know is killing you, or will you choose one new habit that has the power to change everything? And I want you to hold on to this. The way you spend your minutes is the way you spend your life. If your minutes are wasted, your life will be wasted. But if your minutes are invested, your life will be transformed. This is only the beginning, because knowing that habits shape your destiny is the first step. But the real challenge lies in breaking free from the traps, the lies, the quick fixes, the false promises that keep us chasing the wrong kind of change. And until you see those traps for what they are, you'll always risk falling back into the same cycles. And that's exactly where we're going next. Everyone wants a shortcut. We want the pain to vanish overnight, the heartbreak to heal in a week, the success to come with one viral post, one lucky break, one golden opportunity. That's why the world is obsessed with hacks, tricks, and instant results. But let me tell you the truth, quick fixes are the greatest trap you will ever fall into. They look like freedom, but they chain you deeper. Too many people are looking for shortcuts, but there are no shortcuts to real change. I remind myself often, because real transformation isn't instant, it's intentional. Yet, everywhere you look, people are chasing the illusion. Think about how many times you've told yourself, this time will be different. This time I'll turn my life around. Maybe you hit the gym hard for a week. Maybe you deleted their number after a breakup. Maybe you stayed up all night writing down your goals. But then it fades. The energy disappears. The pain returns. The failure stings again. Why? Because motivation without a foundation is like fire without wood. It burns bright, but it burns out fast. The trap of quick fixes starts with the belief that one big decision changes everything. We love the drama of the big moment. The day we quit the job, the night we finally walk away, the second we declare, I'll never go back. Those moments feel powerful, but they don't last. Because it's not the decision that changes your life, it's the discipline that follows it. I once met a man who told me he wanted to rebuild his life after years of failure. He quit drinking, started working out, even tried reading every self-help book he could find. For 2 weeks, he felt unstoppable, but by the 3rd week, he was back to his old ways. Why? Because he thought change was about intensity. But change isn't built in a burst. Change is built in the repetition of small, almost invisible actions, stacked day after day. Don't fall in love with the event. Fall in love with the process, I said to him. Because the event feels exciting, but the process is what makes it real. And this is where most people stumble. They chase excitement instead of commitment. Another quick fix myth is the idea that success comes overnight. We see someone else win. Maybe they post one video that explodes. Maybe they suddenly look happy after a breakup, and we assume they got there instantly. What we don't see is the years of work, the nights of pain, the discipline nobody talks about. Comparison feeds the illusion. And while you're busy envying their overnight success, you're ignoring your own daily opportunity to build brick by brick. The truth is, there is no overnight success. There are only years of preparation that look like nothing until one day they look like everything. The third quick fix trap is believing that motivation alone will carry you. Motivation feels good in the moment. You watch a speech, you hear a quote, you get pumped up. But life isn't built in the moments you feel inspired. It's built in the moments you feel nothing and still show up. If you only act when you're motivated, you'll never get far. But if you build habits that carry you even when you're unmotivated, you'll never fall too low. I remember when I left my old life to live as a monk. People thought it was some magical, life-changing decision. And yes, it was powerful. But what truly transformed me wasn't the decision, it was waking up every day at 4 a.m., meditating, serving, studying, repeating. It was the small, consistent disciplines that no one else saw that changed me, not the dramatic decision that everyone saw. That's why quick fixes are dangerous. They trick you into believing change is easy, when in reality, change is costly. They make you feel like freedom is free, when in reality, freedom demands sacrifice. They lure you with the promise of less effort, when in reality, effort is the only way through. So ask yourself, have you been chasing hacks instead of habits? Have you been hoping for an event to transform you instead of committing to a process that will? Have you been leaning on motivation instead of building discipline? Because until you answer those questions, you'll keep spinning in circles, feeling like you're starting over again and again, but never truly moving forward. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. That's not glamorous. It's not flashy. But it's the truth. Quick fixes give you what you want now. Habits give you what you want most. And here's the hardest part to swallow. You already know this. Deep down, you know that the promises of quick fixes are empty. You've tried them before, and they've let you down. And yet, it feels easier to reach for them again than to commit to the slow, steady grind of real change. But if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep living what you've always lived. That's why I'm telling you this: stop chasing shortcuts. Stop waiting for the big moment. Stop relying on bursts of motivation. Because the life you want isn't hiding in a hack, it's hiding in a habit. And here's where the story turns. Because while most people waste years trapped in the cycle of quick fixes, the few who break free discover something extraordinary. They discover one habit, just one, that becomes the anchor of everything. One habit that changes the way you think, the way you love, the way you live. One habit that rewrites your story forever. And once I reveal what that habit is, you'll realize you've had the power all along. But the question is, are you ready to embrace it? There comes a point in life when you get tired of searching for the magic answer. You've tried the quick fixes. You've chased the hacks. You've lived for the bursts of motivation, and you're still stuck. And that's when you realize something profound. It's not about doing more. It's about doing one thing differently. One habit that becomes the foundation, the anchor, the spark that changes everything. That habit is intentional daily reflection. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But don't let its simplicity fool you. Reflection is not just thinking, it's aligning. It's pausing every day, not to replay your failures, but to learn from them. Not to drown in your pain, but to grow from it. Not to waste time looking back, but to use the past as fuel to move forward. Your direction is more important than your speed, I often say. And reflection is the compass that keeps you on the right path. Because what's the point of running fast if you're running in the wrong direction? Imagine this. Every night, before you sleep, you take 10 minutes. 10 minutes to ask yourself, What did I do well today? What did I waste time on? Who did I show love to? What can I do better tomorrow? Those questions sound small, but over time, they become powerful. Because reflection doesn't just change your day, it reshapes your life. Think about the alternative. When you don't reflect, you repeat. You repeat the same arguments, the same mistakes, the same cycles. You stay stuck in relationships that break you, in habits that drain you, in choices that sabotage you. But when you reflect, you interrupt the cycle. You see the pattern. You catch yourself before you collapse again. Don't carry your mistakes into tomorrow. Learn the lesson. Leave the weight. I've shared with so many people who feel trapped in regret. That's the gift of reflection. It takes your pain and turns it into wisdom. Let me give you an example. I remember counseling a young man who had just gone through a brutal breakup. He was crushed, replaying every moment, every text, every mistake. He couldn't move forward because he was drowning in the past. I asked him, "What's the one lesson this relationship has taught you about yourself?" At first, he resisted. He just wanted to vent. But slowly, he admitted, "I lost myself because I never reflected. I kept giving and giving, without ever asking if this was love, or just fear of being alone." That one moment of reflection freed him, more than months of distraction ever could. Reflection creates clarity, and clarity creates change. Without it, you're just guessing your way through life. With it, you begin to live intentionally. Now, you may be thinking, "Jay, how can something so small change my whole life?" Let me tell you why. Habits are like seeds. Most people plant seeds of distraction, scrolling, numbing, escaping. But when you plant the seed of reflection every day, it grows roots of awareness, branches of discipline, and fruits of transformation. Who you are tomorrow begins with what you do today. That's why this habit matters. Because reflection keeps you honest. It forces you to face the gap between who you are and who you want to be, and then gives you the chance to close it, one day at a time. And reflection doesn't only heal heartbreaks or failures. It transforms success too. Because success without reflection leads to arrogance. You stop learning, you stop growing, and eventually you fall. But success with reflection leads to humility and gratitude. You see how far you've come, but you also see how much further you can go. This is why some of the most fulfilled people in the world, leaders, thinkers, even monks, practice daily reflection. It's not an option for them. It's a necessity. And it should be for you too. But let me warn you, reflection is not always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts to admit the truth. Sometimes you'll see how much time you've wasted, how many mistakes you've made, how many people you've let down. But that pain is not punishment, it's progress. Pain is the pathway to purpose. I've said before, and reflection is how you walk that path. So how do you start? Keep it simple. Every morning or every night, give yourself 10 minutes. Write down your wins, your losses, your lessons. Don't overthink it. Don't judge yourself. Just be honest. Because honesty is where healing begins. And if you do this consistently, you'll notice something extraordinary. Your days will stop blurring together. You'll stop living on autopilot. You'll begin to see yourself growing, step by step, day by day. And one morning, you'll wake up and realize you're not the same person you used to be. You've changed, not because of one dramatic decision, but because of one habit that compounded into transformation. Change doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. That's the secret. Reflection done once won't change you. Reflection done daily will. But here's the twist, the habit alone is not enough. You can reflect every day. But if your mindset is still trapped in guilt, fear, or self-doubt, you'll stay stuck. The habit gives you the tool, but the mindset gives you the power. And until you understand the mindset behind reflection, you'll never unlock its full potential. And that's exactly what we'll uncover next. Because the habit is the doorway, but the mindset is the key. You've learned the habit. You've seen how reflection can shift the course of your life. But here's the truth: the habit is only half the story. Without the right mindset, reflection turns into rumination. Instead of freeing you, it traps you. Instead of building you, it breaks you. That's why mastering the mindset behind the habit is where the real transformation begins. The first shift is this: reflection is not about judgment, it's about growth. Too many of us sit with our past only to tear ourselves down. We replay the breakup and call ourselves unworthy. We relive the failure and label ourselves a loser. But that's not reflection, that's self-destruction. True reflection asks, what did this teach me? How can this make me stronger? Don't let your past define you. Let it refine you. I remind myself constantly. Because every scar has two choices: it can remain a wound, or it can become wisdom. The mindset you bring to reflection decides which it will be. The second shift is this: reflection without action is just daydreaming. You can fill journals with your thoughts, but if you never apply them, nothing changes. Real reflection creates direction. It's not about staring at the rearview mirror, it's about checking it, then driving forward with clarity. The mindset is, I reflect to improve, not just to remember. The third shift is this: reflection must come with compassion. Some of you are so hard on yourselves that even your growth feels like punishment. You think, I should have known better, I should have done more, I should have healed faster. But compassion says, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. And that's okay. Without compassion, reflection becomes a whip. With compassion, it becomes a guide. Treat yourself with the same love you give to others. I tell people who feel broken, because when you reflect with love, you stop seeing yourself as a failure, you start seeing yourself as a work in progress. And finally, the fourth shift: reflection is not about the past, it's about the future. The past is the textbook, but the future is the exam. You reflect not to stay in yesterday, but to prepare for tomorrow. Every lesson you learn today arms you with strength for the battles ahead. So let me ask you, what's the mindset you've been carrying? Do you reflect to punish yourself, or to prepare yourself? Do you sit in judgment, or do you sit in growth? Because until your mindset changes, your habits won't matter. And here's the vision I want you to hold. Imagine waking up tomorrow with this mindset. You look at your past not with shame, but with gratitude. You see every heartbreak as a teacher, every failure as a stepping stone, every wasted day as the reminder that today is worth everything. Imagine the peace of living that way. Imagine the freedom. Because here's the truth: the one habit can change your days, but the mindset will change your destiny. The habit is the doorway, but the mindset is the key. And when you carry both, you don't just survive life, you transform it. Success is not what you do occasionally, it's what you do consistently with the right intention. That's the heartbeat of this journey. Consistency plus the right mindset equals transformation. So now, the choice is yours. You can go back to the cycle of quick fixes and empty promises, or you can step into this habit with a new mindset. You can keep living as a prisoner of your past, or you can live as the author of your future. The question is, when you look back a year from now, will you see the same person staring back at you, or will you see someone unrecognizable, someone who finally chose to change? The answer begins today. The answer begins with you.